Right, hey everybody, welcome back to Wizbit's Random Gaming, where we normally have a game hunt on a Monday. I've saved the game hunts that I've done recently for 2025. So what I want to do today, go over the year that I've had, my first year on YouTube, talk about the highs, the lows, plans for 2025, some of the games that I've purchased and played that I've really enjoyed, some maybe that I haven't enjoyed as much as I hoped, and I've also got a little Q&A that I'm going to go through as well. I put out a little list on my Facebook community page, my Instagram and my YouTube, and a couple of Discords I'm members of, just to see if anyone had any questions that they wanted to ask me for this upcoming video. Got quite a few questions, some good, some comical, some I'm not going to say serious, because gaming isn't serious, is it? It's fun, it's a hobby, but some more serious than others, shall we say. So I think what we'll do on that front, I think we'll kick off this last video of the year with the questions, the Q&A, get that out of the way. There was a lot of questions that I got, by the way, so apologies if I haven't read yours out. The video would be probably 2 hours if I kept talking as well and gave out everyone's questions. So yeah, apologies if I didn't get round to asking or answering rather your question. My bad, as they say in the States, and yeah, I can only fit so many in. So being the professional that I am, I've written everything down here in a book that I pretty much will be looking to answer. So let's get straight into it. We've got quite a few questions here, so let's have a look. Right, first a question, and believe it or not, this is a legitimate, serious question. Comes from Callum, aka the Retro Ghetto. Shout out to the Retro Ghetto. He's been a massive help supporting my small channel over the last 12 months. Very genuine person, very level-headed, and got to know him on a level in the last 12 months, which shows a different side to what you see on YouTube, but at the same time, that's not a bad thing. He comes across as a good guy on his channel, and he's a good guy in real life as well. Can't thank you enough for the support, mate. I'm not sure if I can thank you for the rather odd question you've given me and the predicament you're going to put me in by having to answer this, but nevertheless, I'm a sport, we'll give it a go. So Callum over at the Retro Ghetto has asked me, if I had to choose one item, what would I prefer to wear? Eddie Gordo's tight vest from Tekken, or Ken from Street Fighter 6 Sports Direct hiking boots? There's a bit of a private joke there between the old Sports Direct hiking boots. I played Street Fighter 6 not too long ago and done a little video on it, and it's a comment I made, and he thoroughly agreed with me. It's what you'd find at the back of Sports Direct, Soviet hiking boots, that type of thing. Yeah, wasn't a good look for Ken. Now I had to think about this. Now when I edit this video, hopefully you'll see in either side, up here and up here, an item of each of what I've just mentioned. Eddie's vest preferably on the left, Ken's boots on the right. I'll let you make your own minds up, but for me, I'm gonna go with Eddie's vest. Yeah, it's tight. It's not gonna be flattering on me at my age, but you know what? I can put a coat on or a jacket and hide that. There's no hiding those Street Fighter 6 hiking boots from Sports Direct. No hiding them. Footwear is your footwear. You step out in your footwear, it's all there. People, unless you run down the street barefoot, and you know what, That's an even worse look. So yeah, Callum, I'm going to go with a vest. Yeah, didn't think I'd be answering a question like that in 2024, but yeah, Eddie Gordo's type vest. Right, another question. This question comes from a member of the Ghetto Gang Discord that I'm a part of, and that is from Rob B. The best non-gaming thing that I have done in 2024. It's quite a difficult one, in all honesty. It's been a bit of a transitional year for me in life in general. And when I say that, it's because YouTube is very much a getaway for me, something I do to take my mind off of the real stuff in real life. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that could end up being quite negative in my life in terms of a personal career, but I'm not going to bore you with that. People don't watch YouTube for that kind of thing. We watch it to escape reality. Same reason that I pretty much do YouTube. So I don't know, it's a tough one. It could work out that the move that I make down the line could actually be the best thing I've done in 2024 and moving forward. If I move away and make the right moves at the right time in terms of professional career, it's hard to say right now. I'm going to say the best thing that I've done in non-gaming thing in 2024. So I'm going to list two things. One, me and my partner, we discovered after a long wait a condition that our youngest son has. I'm not going to go into details about it, but we have been waiting for a long time, and we pushed and we pushed and we pushed. So it's not really so much something I did, it's something we as a family did. We pushed to get the results, to find out what condition my son had, so that we can prepare for it and give him a better life moving forward. I think if we'd have sat back and not pushed on that, we would probably still be waiting to this day. But me and my wife especially was relentless in pushing that with the NHS and Great Ormond Street, and shout to Great Ormond Street, they were absolutely brilliant with me and my family. Once it got to the stage with them, we no longer had to push. It was all left in their hands, and they got back to us when they were ready. They were doing the work, we didn't need to push them. It was more of a case of pushing it through the NHS, getting it to the stage where you're getting it to the senior pros at Great Ormond Street Hospital. Once we got to that stage, which believe me is a feat in itself, everything was fine, and we got the information that we needed, and we're more prepared than ever to go ahead with life moving forward. Now, as an individual, something I'm fairly proud of, I don't know why, when I reached I think it was the 1,000 sub mark earlier in the year, there was a little joke where someone said that I should do a Robbie Williams Nintendo Wii playthrough. I think Robbie Williams has got one of those Sing It games, and like an idiot, I didn't think I would reach 1,000 subs anytime soon. I said, yeah, why not? It happened not too long after either. I'm a good sport. Not only did I go ahead and do the whole thing, I planned and prepared and actually shot my own music video and cover of Robbie Williams' Angels. It's terrible, but at the same time something that I didn't plan that much into it, and I didn't put that much effort into it. However, I think the end result was a lot better than I expected, and yeah, I thought it was quite funny, and it got a lot of positive feedback from various friends and people that I know in the community. The video's pretty much been silenced now on YouTube, so even if you was looking to have a laugh at it thereafter, it's you won't be able to see the full unedited version. However, I do have a Patreon, and it's a free Patreon. There's no charge. The only reason I have one of those Patreons, I'm not popular enough to even consider something like that. I just have one so that I can put up videos that YouTube doesn't agree with, and I think that's probably a very good example of that. So I might think about uploading that tomorrow. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you'd like to see that. I'll get it uploaded, and yeah, you can have a good laugh at my expense. Now, on a similar note to the Robbie Williams tribute song, Ross over at I always I get scared when I'm about to pronounce his YouTube channel, because I always think I'm going to pronounce it wrong. But just think of an evil villain's laugh, and you've got the name of his channel. Love Ross. Great channel, great guy, makes some really good content. I love especially his voiceover stuff. Doesn't do enough of it, but when he does, the effort that he puts into it and the knowledge on any of his videos, it's great. I always seem to learn something when I watch a video of Ross's. So shout out to you, mate. He's got a couple of questions. First one related to the last question. What would I say to Robbie Williams if he was to get wind of my Angels cover video? I would say to him, see Rob, you're not the only one out there that can't sing. That is pretty much what I would say to him. I'm not a Robbie Williams fan. Smug git. It's just something about him. He could be a lovely bloke in real life, who knows, I'll never find out. I don't like to judge a book by its cover, but I'm only going by what I've got to go on. And yeah, it's just something about Robbie Williams. It's not on a level with James Corden, no, nowhere near that, but he is fairly annoying. So yeah, Ross, I would tell Robbie, he's not the only one out there that can't sing. He might go home thinking he's quite talented once he watches my version. Now, Ross has also got a gaming related question as well. He's saying, on my CEX hunts, what is my biggest regret that I've left behind in the past? That's a real tough one, because as anyone that shops in CEX will know, prices on various systems, they fluctuate like mad. There's been many a game that I've looked at and thought, it's £5, it's £2, it's a tenner. I'm not going to pick that up today. It must be around in every shop. I'll just pick that up whenever and focus on something else. There's a ton of those sort of games. However, I can't remember what price this was at the time that I probably saw it a relatively cheap price. All I know is it was a lot cheaper than what you see it today. And I've seen multiple times, and you don't see it too often these days, is Jackie Chan, Stunt Master on the PlayStation 1. There was a point where that was not really an expensive game. It's got to the stage now where that is £80 without manual and £150 with manual. Absolutely ridiculous in terms of having a manual. It just that's a whole other story and another debate to have another time, is the whole CEX with or without manual thing. But yeah, definitely I've seen it on multiple occasions over the last few years, and kind of it just said to myself, no, not yet, maybe one day, hopefully it'll go down and I'll pick it up. Boy, did I get that one wrong. That one has shot through the roof, and the only chance I've got with that now is to build up my vouchers. I'm not going to be paying £150, it's not happening. I either build up my vouchers through bargains and stuff that I trade into CEX, or I manage to find a very cheap copy online. Chances of that, very slim. Most people these days, when they're listing their games, they pretty much reference CEX before they go out and sell. That's just how the market is. CEX are the market leaders in terms of that. independent game shops pretty much do the same thing. They measure against CEX, regardless of whether or not the independent game shop is a fan of the CEX model. I think they all use their price charting so that they can run their own business as well. So yeah, Jackie Chan, Stunt Master on the PlayStation 1. Definitely probably, well no, definitely the regret over the last few years of game hunting. Should have done it, wasted opportunity at least 3 or 4 times. Right, so we have got a question from Stick Drift Retro over on Instagram. He's asked me, how did I get started in the YouTube scene and also on Instagram? Well, first and foremost, don't ask me for any advice on Instagram. I very rarely use it. I hardly got any followers on Instagram. I don't really know what I'm doing on there. Not to say I know what I'm doing on here, but yeah, YouTube is something I focus on a lot more as a hobby, whereas Instagram, I'll just post every now and then if I've picked up something. I don't really tag too much. I don't go out and follow people too much. Yeah, I've got over 200 followers on Instagram. It's not a terrible number by any means. There's people with a lot less, but it's not something I'll focus on, so I won't be giving you any advice on Instagram today and how to get started on it, because I have no right to. I'm no good at it myself. In regards to YouTube, I've been watching video game content on YouTube for many years. I always thought to myself I'd like to have a go at that, but just really didn't have, I'm not going to say the confidence, but I was just in a period of my life where I thought it was just at the back of my mind. I thought, this isn't something I'm going to do today, I'll do it another time. Always had the confidence to do so. Most people will tell you that know me, I'm not shy when it comes to talking from my sins, but what prompted me to was my sons started getting into YouTube a lot more, and my middle son is autistic, and he makes various little strange videos on YouTube, and he encouraged me one day and just said to me, Dad, you should do some too with video game stuff. Why don't you do a channel? And I thought it'd be nice for me and him just to kind of do something together, have something to talk about, you know. Hey son, how's your channel doing today? Yeah, it's fine, Dad. I'm only beating you by about 800 subscribers today. You'll get there though. That's how most of the conversations went for the first few months anyway. But yeah, that was a bit of an inspiration. And a couple of years ago, it was very much a life-changing event in my personal life where I lost a loved one. And I thought to myself, I just want to get my mind off of certain things, and that was one of them that was kind of dragging me down, you know. And I thought I'd put what I just said with my son together and also keep myself busy, to keep my mind off other stuff that goes on in life. It's been great. It definitely has worked, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly throughout the last year. It's the reason I do it, in all honesty. So that's how I kind of got started doing YouTube. How I grew, and I haven't really grown per se. I've got some decent subs. I'd like to increase the views. It's always nice, you know. It's not for anything other than, you know, that kind of personal pat on the back you get when you think to yourself, that video must have been quite well made, or the quality was there because it's had quite a few views or comments. It's always nice. We're all human. Everyone likes a virtual pat on the back. I don't care what anyone says. You can sit there and say you're not. It doesn't bother you. I don't believe you. I think everyone has got that emotion in them where they like to be told well done. So I think what helped me out massively is early days I kind of caught the attention of a couple of the YouTube community, in particular Retro Ed UK. Great guy. He really picked up on my videos. The early days quality was terrible. They're not brilliant now, but early days, yeah, it was absolutely terrible. But Ed jumped all over it. Was really friendly, encouraging. Gave me some advice. Also, you know, he used to leave comments on my videos quite often. You know, it kind of gave me that impetus to carry on. It kind of went from there. I had a few other tubers as well message me here and there, give me some advice, and I've always been a bit of a lone wolf. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a Grinch, a bar humbug by any sense of the imagination, but I do like to kind of work alone. It's just how I am. I've been like that in my whole working life as well, and to an extent my personal life. But sometimes you've got to open up and let people in. Just got to make sure you make the right decisions at the right time, I think. And some of the people that I've met on this little journey in the last year, they've really helped me out massively by sharing my stuff, commenting on my stuff, giving me tips and advice. I've been quite lucky in that aspect. I have worked pretty hard on the content in the last year, but doesn't matter how hard you work, I think you've always got to have that little bit of luck and a little bit of help. And I've definitely had that along the way with some very good people. I've had lots of shout outs as well. They really work on getting your subs when a more popular channel might mention you on their channel. I've had that on occasion, and 2 hours or 3 hours later you might pop onto your YouTube studio and you'll see it and you'll be like, wow, I've got like 10, 15, 20 new subs, and that's all down to someone else giving their approval of yourself on their channel. They don't have to do that, not in the slightest. It's their platform. For them to do that on their platform is brilliant, and it shows that there are nice people out there in the community. There's always drama. I'm keeping away from that. And if you're going to get into YouTube, my friend, stay well away from any drama. Just stay in your lane, have fun, and make sure you enjoy what you're doing. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, it'll probably show in your content. And yeah, what's the point if you're not enjoying it? My old friend Rod, aka Astro Boy. I've known Rod for many years. Before I got into YouTube, in my 20s, late teens, and it's probably my early 30s. Yeah, I'm old. Before I settled down with a family, I used to be part-time DJ. Used to play drum and bass, old school rave, hardcore, all that kind of stuff. That was my thing in the 90s and the early 2000s, and, up to probably around about 2010, a little while thereafter. And Rod was, he was at every rave, you know, and so I've had many a good night with Rod. Nice to connect with him ever so slightly back on Instagram and YouTube. So yeah, Rod's question is, what is your retro games setup? You can pretty much see what I've got behind me. In terms of the retro stuff, if you're talking cartridge based stuff, well, I'll be honest with you, the home I'm in right now with 3 kids, you know, crazy little family, I love them to death, but I just don't have the room for an extravagant amount of stuff, and that's okay, I can live with that. However, some of the cartridge based stuff, the pricing is absolutely crazy anyway. I'm not sure I would collect too much for it, even if I did have the room. I would buy more, most definitely, but some of the stuff out there, the pricing is crazy. So what I choose to do at the moment, when it comes to cartridge based stuff, anything up to the PlayStation 1, I'll be honest with you, and it's a dirty word on many a station, and you know, kill me for it, I emulate. And what do I use? I use a Super Console X. I purchased it from AliExpress, £30. I can't fault it. I think it's brilliant. You know, I do a lot of my Let's Plays when it comes to the main and the arcade stuff via the Super Console X, and everything comes out great. Now, like anything, there's going to be some games on there that don't emulate as well as others. But for that price, and considering it's not exactly the most legit way of purchasing something when you've just got a load of ROMs on an SD card, who am I to complain? But yeah, that's what I tend to use when it comes to cartridge based systems. Other than that, you can see up here we have got the Xbox Series X, which has also got developer mode installed on it, so I can use a RetroArch and emulate on that for retro based stuff if I need to. Just below it, where you can see that Stranger Things inspired VHS tape, hopefully. Got the Switch. The Switch is probably the greatest handheld of all time, and probably, I think personally now, I think it's the best console of all time, which is an answer to another question, but I've only half-hearted the answer to that question right now. You can do anything on the Switch really. Modern games, although some don't run too well, admittedly. Retro games, fun games, party games. The Switch pretty much does it all, so that's a great option for me there if I do want to go down that retro road. You know, you can play your retro stuff and your retro inspired stuff on the Switch as well. Just underneath that, we've got the PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2, I've got the HDMI converter for that one, so if I ever do want to get a better image, do recording to the PlayStation 2 stuff, the option is there. Just below that, we've got the Dreamcast, same there, HDMI converter as well. Dreamcast is something I need to buy a little bit more for. It's been neglected, but I'll be looking to buy more games on that in 2025. I'm just going to be quite selective in what I buy. Then underneath that, we've got the Saturn. Now, in all honesty, the Saturn is an expensive rabbit hole to go down if you're collecting, and I understand why. I'm just not going to be someone that jumps down that rabbit hole anytime soon. I picked up a Saru for the Sega Saturn, which is basically the Sega Saturn's version of an EverDrive. I got that from AliExpress when it first originally came out. I couldn't tell you what the price of such an item is now. However, at the time it was around about £60 to £70 with the SD card and all the games on it. It's been brilliant. So many games on that, and I'm a huge Saturn fan. So many great shmups on that system, and it's lovely to be able to sit back and play those games just at the push of a button. The Saturn was always quite a hard one to emulate back in the day. I know technology is advanced now to the point where the Saturn is, I don't know, is it easily emulated? I've never really tried since, well, not in the last couple of years anyway. So it could be. It might have got to the stage now where it's easy to emulate. But having the Saru there with the Sega Saturn, it's a massive, massive help, and yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of collectors out there shrugging their shoulders and shaking their heads at me right now. It is what it is. We all enjoy video games. How you enjoy video games, there's no one set way, in my opinion. Just as long as you're out there and you're enjoying them, it doesn't matter. You know, it's great to have the physical stuff. Sometimes life doesn't allow that to happen. It's not practical. So yeah, I do that with that stuff. Emulate up to that. But when it comes to more disc-based stuff, yeah, I collect for that kind of stuff. I've got room, and I've been buying for that. So depending on what you call retro rod, PS1 I don't emulate for really. I collect as and when. I don't buy too often on the PS1. I buy games that I like the look of, or ones that I have great nostalgia for with the PS1. It's the same with the Dreamcast as well, and the reason being is because I just don't like the dual cases. I think they get damaged too much. You've only got to sneeze over a Dreamcast dual case and there's a good chance it's going to have a crack in it. So I buy them games, but not too often, because I just find they're quite, they're easy to break. And PS1 games, the dual cases, they're easy to replace, but the Dreamcast ones aren't. I've yet to find a reseller that sells good replica Dreamcast dual cases, in my experience. If you happen to know one, please drop a link below, because it's always handy. Got plenty of the mini consoles up there as well. We've got the PC Engine Mini, SNES Mini, we've got the PlayStation 1 Mini, both of the Mega Drive variants as well. Got a GameCube up there as well, Amiga and Commodore Minis, and we've got an N64 up there alongside the Neo Geo Mini arcade machine. That can be played via HDMI as well if I wanted to play those games. However, if I'm going to be playing Neo Geo, I tend to use the Super Console X, if I'm totally honest. The HDMI on the Neo Geo Mini arcade doesn't come through very well, and I just enjoy it more so as a novelty piece. We've also got the Evercade down now. I'm a huge Evercade fan. We've got the Atomic Edition down here, and that's pretty much the only system that I collect for cartridge based. And that's a great way to play your retro stuff, because that's where the heart of the Evercade ethos is, retro. But also it gives you plenty of modern retro games as well. So that's something I enjoy. Got the Crystal Xbox down here as well. Then we've got your standard 360, PS3, and a good old PlayStation 5 there. Got a Master System up here as well that was recently donated to myself by a friend of the channel, aka Mr. Spadefist. Thank you for that. He just wants me to spend the little money I have left on Master System games so that someone else can feel absolutely skint when he's been buying random games as well. I'll see you at the soup kitchen, my friend, once I've bought a few more games for this system. But yeah, that's pretty much the setup I've got right now. A few handhelds up here as well. But yeah, I'll be honest with you, most of this stuff up here is pretty much for display, and the disc-based systems and the cartridge stuff here, that's pretty much what I focus on. To Pixel Paul, really great YouTuber, Pixel Paul. I came across him when I was watching a few of Joe, aka Super Smash Gaming YT's videos, and he's been involved in a couple of collabs with Joe. Check Joe out, she'll be coming back in the new year. Really good channel. She's changing her focus, I believe, in terms of collecting, and while she was doing that, taking a break away from YouTube, and yeah, I think she's going to be back in the new year with a whole new focus, and I think that will show in her channel. But anyway, Pixel Paul, I enjoy this guy's content. He really tries to have a variety on his channel, and for that reason it piqued my interest. It's not just your standard game hunts, there's also game chat and stuff from his personal point of view, which is what I personally like to watch. I don't want to hear someone talk that just gives the same point of view as everyone else, and I feel that when I'm watching Paul's videos, that's the case. I'm getting what his point of view when he's talking about various games. He's tried to mix it up here and there with the gameplay stuff as well. He's had a go at that. Not very successful. We've had a little conversation about that. I know how he feels. I'm determined to carry on posting some gameplay videos as well. Some of them have absolutely tanked in terms of views. It is what it is. And then I've had other ones that have just been really, really good. You know, you can get one that'll be 100 views, 49 views. You're like, what was the point in editing that? You know, but you can't let that put you off, otherwise you'll stop. And then I've had other ones where I've done like Streets of Rage 4, which ranged from 500 views to one part of it which got just under 20,000 views. That one just must have clicked with the algorithm. But yeah, Paul is asking a couple of questions. Going off on a tangent, I tend to do that, apologies guys. So my favourite gaming video that I've made and uploaded in 2024. It's an easy answer for this one, Paul. However, it's not one particular video. It's a series of videos, and that is my series that I've put together called Unfinished Business. So my series that I created, Unfinished Business, it was a concept that I came up with just one day, daydreaming. I thought I need to find a bit of a unique selling point if I want to come up with a series of videos on YouTube. And that's quite difficult because when it comes to niche subjects like gaming, most people have already filled the voids. So Unfinished Business is a concept I came up with where I talk about old games that have a meaning to me that I played in my childhood, but for one reason or another I never got around to finishing that game. Whether or not it was too difficult, I didn't have long enough with the game, whatever it may be, but it has to be a nostalgic game from my past that I just never got around to finishing. So I had a little think about it, and I thought I need to talk about the game in general, then talk about my history with that particular game, and to conclude each video, try to right the wrong and then see if I can finish said game in 2024 and hopefully 2025 when I get some new episodes done. Took a long while to get off the ground because doing the first video was I chose a game that was quite dear to me, I loved as a child, and that was Rastan. And I made lots of changes as I was going through the video because it was the first one of its kind from me anyway. So I made lots of changes. Took a long time for me to get that video edited and out there in the manner that I wanted to. I wanted to bring a little bit of humour to it as well. Hopefully I did that. Initially, results were quite disappointing in terms of views and stuff like that. Now that's not my main focus on doing YouTube, as I've said many times, it's not. But we're all human. Everyone likes a virtual pat on the back. If you see that a video is done well, it tells you that the effort you kind of put in might have been worthwhile. And the results were less than stellar initially. And I didn't really know how to rectify that. And I was starting to doubt the whole concept. But eventually I just started pushing that video around social media sites, creating absolutely tons of shorts advertising it, and it took a long while, and it definitely took a lot of work in order to try and get that video to hit something in the YouTube algorithm, but I feel that it worked in the end once I really gave it a push. You know, for me, 1,500 views or whatever it's got, maybe 16, I was very, very happy with that. It took a long while. That video stood at 200 views for ages, but I gradually built it up, and I was really happy with it. To the point where I thought to myself, I will carry on this. I was always going to carry on. I had a couple of other episodes ready to be put into production, but it gave me a little bit more confidence and a bit more of an impetus into carrying on, you know, pulling my finger out and carrying on the concept. So I went ahead, got episode 2 out, which was R-Type. I think by that stage, a few of the viewers that I have on this channel had already experienced the first one after I relentlessly pushed it down their throats. Sorry about that, but thank you. And they gave it a chance, and that one, similar results, but in a much quicker time frame. So I was quite happy with that. That was R-Type, and I managed to get the third one done not too long after that, and that was Street Fighter 1, the arcade game. That's the video I probably had the most fun with, Paul, in terms of editing, comedy, and I managed to turn that one around in a really quick time frame, probably 2 to 3 days, getting that video edited, filmed and out and about on YouTube. So yeah, strange one. The effort that I put into that in terms of time, definitely the least involved I've been in doing one of those videos, but definitely the end product, I personally can look back and be quite satisfied with that one. I really like it. Tried to bring a little bit of a sense of humour to the video, and I hope that comes across, and I'll keep doing that as well in the videos. So yeah, I would go with probably episode 3 of Unfinished Business, probably my favourite one for the reasons I've just mentioned below. Pixel Paul also asks, what is my gaming pickup of the year? It wasn't anything that I picked up in store. I've had to think about this one, and I don't know if you could call this cheating, Paul, but I'm going to split it into 2 kind of sections. And section 1 is a game that I brought that I didn't have great expectations for, but wasn't just mildly surprised by, but massively surprised by. And then also a game that I've had a lot of fun with, that I knew was going to be good. So I'll go with the first game, which was Gal Guardians on the PlayStation 5, also available on the Switch, and that is Demon Purge. Really good game. I saw the trailer, and it looked like something that I would enjoy. Very much Castlevania Symphony of the Night type game. It was £25–30 on the Switch, similar price on the PlayStation 5. My aim was to buy it on the Switch. I do like to collect for the Switch more so than the PS5, so it was on my list. I was in no rush to get it though. Suddenly it just went down on the PlayStation 5. The prices just dropped, and it was £10. I think it was the Game Collection. Great website, by the way. If you haven't purchased from them, Game Collection, Google those guys. Fantastic prices on the majority of their stuff, and pretty much always some good deals on that website. And this one was no exception. £10. So I thought, okay, I'm going to buy it on the PlayStation 5. I picked it up, like most games that I buy, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this. They sat on the shelf for ages, and then one day I walked past it in the evening, and I picked it out off the shelf, and I said, I'm going to play this tonight. And in order for me to do so, I left it next to the PlayStation. So once the house was quiet, I put it on, and I didn't have great expectations, because I thought, wow, why has this game gone down to £10 so quick? You know, that's usually a bad sign. But I think, in all honesty, it's probably because it's not really a game that Western audiences are too familiar with. Would I be right in saying that? I think so. And straight away, I was took back by how good the game was. The gameplay, everything about it, very much Symphony of the Night light, and that's okay with me, because it's more linear than that Castlevania Metroidvania experience, and I haven't really got as much time on my side as I used to have years ago before having a family. So yeah, I got through that game, and I haven't completed it yet, in all honesty. Life does get in the way, but I'm very close to it. and the gameplay is fantastic. You know, the controls are great. I couldn't put the control pad down once I started playing it. I was on it for hours and hours, and for me, at my age, to be able to concentrate and have that sort of attention span for one game in this day and age is a rare thing. But that game managed to do it. So for me, I kind of judge that as one of my pickups of the year, just because I think for that money, I think that's a fantastic game that anyone is buying, and that's Girl Guardians Demon Purge. So the second aspect of that, I bought a game. I knew it was going to be good. I've been watching the trailers for this one for some time, and I knew it was going to be good, and I was going to buy it no matter what. I didn't care about what reviews said. I haven't for years. I tend to make my own mind up. And that is Iron Meat, which has been released on the Switch and also on the PlayStation 5. Xbox, you got left out there, my friend. Now, Iron Meat is very much a Contra 3 type clone. People call it a Contra clone. I'm going to say it's more of a Alien Wars clone. In all honesty, if you look at the two games, I can see why people call it the Contra clone, but for me, playing both games, I think the similarities are more so with Contra 3. Subjective. Let me know in the comments what you think if you've played Iron Meat. But I knew that game was going to be good, so it's not like I stumbled across a hidden gem or anything like that. But when I heard who was going to be distributing the game, my heart sunk. I thought, I'm never going to get this game, and if I do, I might be picking up my pension on the same day. So yeah, it was strictly limited games, and whilst I personally have never had a bad experience with them, that's more so because I haven't used them too often. I've got plenty of friends that have had some absolute nightmares with them as a company. Still waiting on games 3 or 4 years down the line. So once I heard they had the distribution rights for Iron Meat, yeah, disappointment, concern. There was lots of things going around my head. I just wanted a game. I thought, worst comes to worst, I'm going to be able to buy it digitally, hopefully. It is what it is. But with a stroke of luck, once they announced the release date for this, they made it very clear in their statement that the stock was ready and primed to be sent out as soon as you ordered. Now, I'm not going to say that filled me with the utmost confidence, but I felt better about the whole situation. And yeah, I got it probably a week or two after I pre-ordered it. Yeah, they was on point on this occasion. Iron Meat's a great game. I picked it up at £35, maybe 30. I think it was 35. Believe me, if you missed out, and they recently just did a second run, and who knows if they're going to do a third one. If you missed out on that one and you want a physical copy, it's not difficult to get hold of per se, but you're going to be paying a pretty penny for that game right now. Most definitely over £100, and it's only been out a few months, so well, who knows what that one will end up being down the line. But Iron Meat's a brilliant game. If any of you guys haven't checked that out, if you've got the possibility of picking that one up, don't hesitate, don't sit on it, pick it up regardless of whatever system you have the opportunity to play it on, PS5 or your Nintendo Switch. I urge everyone to play that game. I have no idea if it's available on a digital format. If that's the only way you can play it, don't shy away from it. The gameplay experience is far too good for something like that just to be sat waiting for your physical copy. It might not ever come around. Next question is from Pygmy Retro. I hope I've got that right. He's saying 3 hidden gems on a Nintendo Switch under £20. Very difficult question to answer in all honesty, because there's a section of games on the Nintendo Switch, and I use CEX as the barrier here, what I measure the game pricing on. They fluctuate between prices. Why I kind of do videos every now and then. 10 Nintendo Switch games for £15 and under. I think I'm pretty good at unearthing a few gems out there. A few people have messaged me saying that those videos have led them to buying certain games that I've recommended, and it's always nice to hear that. But if I'm looking at games that I've picked up for under £15 or under £20, what did he say? Let me have a look. Under £20. I'll be honest, I would have to go back and look at what I paid for various games. But the best thing I can do, and it's not a plug for any of my videos, is go back maybe and have a look at some of my recommendations for the Switch. Another good thing to do as well is how I generate the content that I use for the videos is I'll go on the CEX app, and what I'll do, I'll search all Switch games and I'll put the price range in, and I'll go from low to high. So I'll scan every game from £2, £2.50, which begins with Labo. You're not going to get any cheaper than Labo, and that's not a hidden gem, by the way. And just keep scanning through until you hit that £15 mark, or in your case with the question you've answered, the £20 mark. I screenshot all the ones that I think fit the criteria, and then I'll make a video based on that. But I'll only make the video if I have very good knowledge of that game being a good game, and 9 times out of 10 I have to have played the game myself in order for me to include it in one of my videos. So it's very hard to say, in all honesty, 3 games right now without going and actually checking the app. However, if I was to go through the app right now live, I'd list them pretty much instantly. I recommend you probably do the same. If you're looking to build a collection on the Switch and not spend a great deal of money, that is my way of doing it. My advice to you is go on the app, scroll down from the lowest price up until the price that you're prepared to pay. Make a list of those games. Do it regularly as well, because they have a section of games, as I said earlier, that tend to fluctuate between price. Killer Frequency, for example. I picked that game up for, I think it was £12 at one point. That game has fluctuated in the last 6 months from 15 to 12 to 8 to 6 and then back up to 15. So yeah, that would be one that definitely come on my list that I purchased for under £15 or £20. Battle Axe is another one as well. Great game. However, you've got to keep checking and refreshing the app, because the games change and the prices change on a weekly, if not daily basis. So I'll always try and mention in my videos, as of when the time of filming, these games are £15 and under. You could watch that content maybe 6 months down the line if you was to be unlucky enough to find my video and think this guy's talking absolute nonsense. These games are £20 now, they're £30 now, just because of the price increase. The market's crazy. Yeah, check it out. I would recommend you do that if you're looking for some hidden gems. Pick Me Retro's second question, and this is easy. He's asking, what is worse in this day and age, code in a box or cover reprint that you get in CEX? You know, that nasty little diagonal triangle that you get in the top left hand corner at CEX. Very easy, very easy. I hate to say it, but cover reprint is better than code in a box. I don't see the point in code in a box. I never have. They must sell as a concept and as a product they're still out there in Argos, they're still out there in Smiths, all your mainstream shops, they're still there. For how long, I don't know, but I just don't get it. I don't get it. Someone's buying them. You can't do nothing with it, you know. So I just don't get it. You're paying for the cover and then a code in a box. However, cover reprint, as much as I hate it, and I think there's definitely ways that CEX could improve how they do things with the whole cover reprint thing, at least you've got the physical game. You can potentially look to Frankenstein that game, piece it together by finding a cover down the line, an instruction manual, whatever it may be. Definitely the cover, obviously. You might find one on eBay, you might find one on Vinted, but you can recover that. Yeah, you can't replace the code in the box thing, that's just trash. Friend Merlin XEVE, how you doing, mate? I haven't seen you for a while either on a few of our Discords. If you're watching this, get active again, you're missed. I need someone to talk some music with on the Discords. No one else likes my crazy taste in music other than you. He's asked me 3 questions, but they're all the same kind of question, if that makes sense. I suppose it will do once I ask it. And he's asking me all-time favourites. Firstly, game. Secondly, console. And then thirdly, rave. Game's a hard one. All-time favourite game. I'm going to think about that one as I answer the other 2 questions, to be quite honest with you. Console, I would have said the Switch. I would have said the Super Nintendo a year, 2 years ago, but that's changed for me now. It's the Switch. The Switch is versatile. The amount that you can do with that console in terms of what you can get on it has surpassed the Super Nintendo for me. Yeah, I know it's not the most powerful console in the world. It doesn't need to be. I'm not one of these guys that's bothered about ray tracing and PlayStation Pros and how a game can hold 60 frames per second more than another system. I grew up playing NES and Amstrad games. I've played a lot worse, so I'm not going to be that fussy. So the Nintendo Switch for me has at this point surpassed the Super Nintendo, and yeah, my favourite console of all time. I'm hoping the Switch 2 is even better, whatever they choose to call it, and let's hope, as much as I love the Wii U, I'm going for a full set. Let's hope commercially it's not another Wii U. Now, in terms of favourite rave, I travelled all over the place in my 20s and my teens. But home is where the heart is. And Club Labyrinth in Hackney, Dalston. Easy to get to. When there wasn't a big rave on somewhere else in the country that we was looking to travel to, we always had the option on a Friday or a Saturday night getting down to the Four Aces in Hackney and having a great night. So yeah, my best memories are in that place. Made some great friends over the years in Labyrinth, some great connections, had some great parties there. We've hired the place out ourselves, put on our own nights when we was doing radio stations. But yeah, Club Labyrinth. Shout out to Joe and Sue, legends for keeping that place going for many, many years. So we're back to best game, and in all honesty, in terms of what I've played and the amount of hours put into a game, I'm not gonna place it on one particular game, and I'm just gonna say the Street Fighter series from Street Fighter 2 onwards. It's that pick up and play aspect. Easy to play, hard to master, but anything from Street Fighter 2 to Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter Third Strike, and even Street Fighter 4, anything in and around that sort of area, that's my favourite section of games. There's better games I think that I've played, definitely. But I've got a true love for that series, and for that reason I'm going to say that is pretty much my favourite games. Can't label it down to one. I love that whole period of Street Fighter. Mende5 over on Discord that I'm part of, he's saying, what game do I regret not playing sooner? Easy. Doom. It took me years to actually sit down and proper play the original Doom, and that's pretty much because I didn't have a system to play it on back in the day. I refused to buy it on the Super Nintendo. Didn't look like my sort of game back then, and I'm glad I didn't buy it, because I think if that would have been my first experience with Doom, I wouldn't have held it in high regard. But years down the line, in terms of emulation and the amount of ways that you can play Doom on pretty much any system that's got an online store, I would say that is a series that I really regret not playing a lot sooner. I don't have the experience that a lot of other people had playing Doom. I'm very much playing catch up on that one. And the second question from him here is, what game did I wish that I didn't buy, that I wish I'd gone out and bought something else instead? Another very easy question. Simpsons Wrestling. Simpsons Wrestling. I was a huge Simpsons fan in my 20s, early 20s. I was a big wrestling fan in my early teens, and I was still actively watching it in my early 20s as well. So like an idiot, I thought to myself, they're going to put two of my favourite things together. What can go wrong? Everything. I bought that game day one and bought it home, paid full price for it. It's got to be one of the worst games I've ever played. Now, I don't know if the pain of paying full price for that game actually gives me more impetus to say that. I'm sure it does, but it's an absolute train wreck of a game. Should never have been released, and I think I paid £30 for it upon release. And yeah, I definitely wished I'd walked out of that shop with something else that day. So that's the questions out of the way. Just gonna finish the video off with a couple of shout outs with some of the people that I've met over the last year, and some of the people that I hope to keep meeting up with and conversing with in 2025, and just a small little outline of what I plan on doing with the channel in 2025. So in terms of plans, at some point I'm going to be doing more unfinished business episodes. In terms of what episodes I'm planning on doing for unfinished business, I've got quite a few in the pipeline. Two that I'm currently working on are Castlevania and Rolling Thunder. But I've got a lot of other games and a lot of good ideas, I think, that should make good videos for that going forward. We're also going to update the intros, the logo of the channel as well. As I said in a few other videos earlier, I'm going to be looking to expand the game hunts as well. Going to be heading outside of London to a few shops up north, pretty much anywhere that I can possibly get to. A lot more of the gaming markets and expos, that sort of thing, outside of London. I've restricted myself to mostly London and Essex based stuff throughout 2024. I'm going to look to change that in 2025, just so that the content keeps, I'm not going to say staying original, there's plenty of people out there doing this kind of thing, but just so that there's a variation of content on the channel. So keep your eyes peeled for that sort of stuff as we go along. I do hope you'll stick with me for the ride. It'd be great if you do. Gonna do maybe a few more collaborations as well. I've met some great people over the last 12 months, fellow content creators as well. So hopefully we'll get a few of those things off the ground. Obviously any collaborations I've got to suit both people, so I won't entertain anything that really I don't like the idea of, and I wouldn't expect anyone else to do the same if I was to make a proposition to them. So it's not as easy as just clicking and say, yeah, there'll be a collaboration. Our channels are quite personal to us smaller content creators, so yeah, it's got to suit us and probably stick with the ethos that we all want to carry on with on our respective channels. But yeah, I've met some great people. I'll leave some links in the comments, in this video description below, some great channels that I highly recommend you go and check out. Got great people like Comics and Retro, Nicky. This guy, show him some love. He's got a great collection of stuff. Really good guy. His videos are really good as and when he puts stuff out. So you've got people like him. You've got Retro Ed UK, who I've mentioned on many occasions. We've got the young guy, Retro Head. He's really coming on leaps and bounds of his videos and his content, and his channel is growing, and it's a pleasure to see. We've got loads and loads that I've met, some friends that I've made through the channel as well, people that I'll speak to on Discord, some of the bigger YouTubers as well that I talk to on occasion, people like Callum over at Retro Ghetto. Yeah, he's got a higher sub count than the majority of us smaller content creators, but he's a down-to-earth guy. He's helped me out loads, and for that I'll always be grateful. We've got loads out there. We've got Nick Berry, not from EastEnders. I'm sure you've heard that before, Nick. With Not More Games, I believe his channel is called. Again, there'll be a link in the description below. We've got Retro Chef, who I believe is going to be bringing back Swap Shop. Going to be hopefully working on something with him at some point in the near future. Retro Rewind, Clint. This guy's got a great collection. I love watching his stuff, especially as he really focuses on Amstrad and Master System stuff. Two systems that are really close to my heart. Got James82, who's been a great help with the channel, one of the best viewers you could ask for. Such a generous man, such a good human being as well. Shout out to you, James, if you're watching this. You've been probably the most consistent viewer on my channel throughout the course of 2024, and not only that, we've had some conversations. We've got a few things in common in terms of what we have to deal with in our day-to-day lives, and I commend you greatly for being the person that you are. There's loads. I'll leave as many links to people's social medias in the description below. Please give these guys your support. They all work really hard, and they really will appreciate your support. Anyway guys, that is 2024 for Wisbits Random Gaming. Thank you for sticking with me. If you just found the channel, please check out the rest of my content, and I hope you enjoy it. And here's to 2025. Hopefully it's going to be a good year for all of us, not just in our gaming lives, in our normal lives as well. Until I see you on the next game hunt, take care and stay safe.